Hello people, Venom Sasuke here, and today we are going to react to Simon the Digger vs Kyle Rayner Death Battle. And before we start, please support the official release for the video that's being reacted to belongs to Death Battle. And check out the original video in the link in the description below. But yeah, let's get to it.
Simon the Digger, Kyle Rayner, the White Lantern. Two men born of Earth with the willpower to pierce the heavens and conquer infinity. He's with my boomstick, and it's our job to analyze their weapons.
So 30 votes are in on my side. 73% are rooting Simon, embedding Simon.
Underground.
13 are rooting embedding Kyle.
Oblivious to the wider world above their squalid cave. That's where
I forgot the other percents for rooting Simon and embedding Kyle, and for rooting Kyle and embedding Simon. So yeah.
He was there too, I guess. Simon was a digger,
21.
endlessly through the dirt.
Simon, yeah.
Found the core drill.
Anti-spiraling.
Lagann, under his magnificently masculine leadership.
But yes, guys, we are gonna do this from the premiere.
After a life in the dark. But the sky was by no means the limit.
So we're gonna look at this. It's like, this is making me nervous and excited at the same time.
To reclaim the Earth for humanity. Throwing a second mech in the process, aptly named Gurren. And as befits Kamina and Simon's unbreakable Gurren and Lagann merged, creating Gurren Lagann. With Kamina piloting the body and Simon the head, these two were unstoppable. Of all the giant fighting robots in all the animes across history, Gurren Lagann may just be the absolute coolest, fueled by its pilot's willpower.
Runs on willpower, merged with large machines, drills, missiles, sunglasses, boomerang, energy blast.
Sunglasses, boomerang.
Well, he runs on more than willpower.
Wrist-mounted drills, kunai drills, shield drills, kamehameha drills, and everyone's favorite, the Giga Drill Bro. Side note, it is so funny that the only thing they could think of was drills. That's like if I made booze or something, my whole personality. With Gurren Lagann's awesome power, Kamina laid waste to enemy forces.
But I am rooting and betting Gurren on Simon no matter what.
Until Kamina died. Oh, wait, shit, was that supposed to happen? Nope, and it was all Simon's fault. He let his willpower waver, and his soul brother paid the price.
Because he was heartbroken and he had
just a humble digger at home in the
had a crush on Yoko, so
solely by the light of Kamina's spirit.
But he moved on from that, so yeah.
With these final words, have faith in the Simon who believes in you. Damn. Kamina was the one looking up to him the whole time.
When I saw Kamina's death, his death made me cry.
Simon who pierced the surface, and Simon who would now lead humanity to victory. Especially with his gal pal Nia at his side, who helped pull him out of his rut and kick Lord Genome's ass. But victory only lasted 7 years before the anti-spiral attack. Unimaginably powerful godlike aliens, the anti-spiral feared humanity's potential, what they dubbed the spiral nemesis. Remember how Gurren Lagann runs on fighting spirit? Turns out that's just a manifestation of spiral power, an energy that all spiral beings, like humans, have. That's right, the laws of physics run on chutzpah. Just as the spiral turned inward represents endless obsession and madness, the spiral turned outward spins forever.
Showing Johnny Joestar was something when I saw the preview for
humanity's
Simon.
Evolutionary potential. Potential Simon would use as he led Team Dai Gurren across the multiverse to take the fight to the anti-spiral. And this is when Gurren Lagann gets crazy. Channeling spiral power lets you constantly adapt to threats, no matter how overwhelming. Simon can create portals to different realities and higher dimensions. He can generate force fields, absorb energy attacks, and even merge Gurren Lagann with bigger and stronger machines.
Super Tengen Toppa, okay.
Gurren Lagann, which is strong enough to shatter space and time with
So-
a punch, or the
so you're sent to the end of time.
Gurren Lagann, which can fire lasers that are fast enough to hit, and I quote,
past,
all
present,
time,
and
space,
future.
and dimensions, all within a Planck instant. That's the smallest unit of time physically possible, meaning each laser would have to be moving 4.6 times 10 to the 117th power times faster than light.
biggest amount since
Well, looks like
SpongeBob.
this wins the award for fastest calculated speed feat in our show's history. Congratulations, Gurren Lagann.
Move over, SpongeBob. You've been defamed.
And Mega Man.
Oh, and the guidebook says they hit an innumerable number of enemies across infinite universes.
Time, space, and
Cannot
dimensions.
calculate how fast that is.
But it wasn't enough to escape the anti-spiral's greatest trap, the
Multiverse
Multiverse
Labyrinth.
Labyrinth. An attack that imprisons Simon in his own unique multiverse, forced to experience an infinite number of alternate realities that controlled his mind, permanently arresting him in a dream world.
Except Simon
And trying to
and his
rewrite his
power
story.
are just built different. And after being inspired by his bro, Simon absorbed that whole multiverse to escape.
What makes this even more impressive is that this labyrinth was 11-dimensional, meaning Simon absorbed a higher dimensional structure several orders of infinity greater than himself. The jump between dimensions is basically infinite. Each new dimension adds a new direction of space that extends infinitely, thus in infinite
saw
in
infinite.
size and scope.
What?
Oh, we're just getting started. Imagine a two-dimensional drawing interacting with a three-dimensional person.
Okay. That's not too far off from what actually happened.
Because when Simon absorbed the multiverse labyrinth, he merged with every alternate universe version of
From
himself.
every
including
universe
alternate
and
universe
time
Simon, who was
and
writing his
space.
own alternate universe version
Past,
of
present, and
Gurren Lagann.
future.
And that author's spiral power made his fictional Simon real, adding another to the mix.
Wait, if every human being has spiral power, you're telling me we can all do this shit?
This all gave our Simone enough spiral power to form the next step in mecha evolution.
Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann.
This is when Gurren Lagann gets actually fucking crazy.
The hype climax.
Shooting missiles that alter probabilities so they have a 100% chance of hitting you, or tossing galaxies around like frisbees. Sorry, did I
They're
say
actually
galaxies?
universes.
I meant universes.
Simon's
Yep.
power was so immense that he started generating super spiral space, a higher dimension encompassing our own universe.
With it, Simon turns his thoughts into reality, letting him create his mech and all of its weapons in the first place.
Not only does this mean he no longer needs co-pilots, he can also regenerate any damage done to him or his mech just by willing it back into existence.
Like when Lord Genome used spiral power to survive quantum breakdown, or
The
time
Infinity
Nia,
Big Bang
now the
Storm.
best wife in the universe, used spiral power to constantly regenerate her body from being erased at the informational level for 7 days
Informational
straight.
level.
Information in physics is essentially the ones and zeros that make up every possible outcome in
Alright.
reality. Nia literally regenerated from the statistical certainty of her own destruction.
If I have spiral power, whiz, when the fuck is my leg growing back?
When even this was not enough for the anti-spiral, Simon evolved one more time.
Into
Super Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann.
This mech is so big, its size is literally incalculable. And with a drill somehow even larger than that, Simon and his friends shattered the anti-spiral once and for all.
Hey, cruel indifference of the universe! Meet the indomitable human spirit!
Proving Kamina's words prophetic, that Simon's drill is the drill that would pierce the heavens.
With no more worlds left to conquer, Simon chose to wander the earth for the rest of his days, in service to others.
Always looking up, for all the lights in the sky are stars, and every star another world of spiral cousins that can live free.
All thanks to a humble digger.
Awesome.
The universe is a dangerous place.
Alright,
Should you find
Rayner.
yourself face to face with an interdimensional vampire, alien dictators, or this one really pissed off cat, you know who to call.
The Green Lantern Corps.
I don't know
The
if that was there
Space
for Rayner's
Fuzz, an
preview or not,
intergalactic police force founded billions of years ago by blue leprechaun gods.
And the greatest Green Lantern among them was everyone's favorite, Hal Jordan.
You know him. You love him. You might hate him. But you
Yeah.
gotta respect the man with a will as unbreakable as Hal's.
Until the day his will broke.
After his hometown got completely obliterated, Hal lost his mind. He rampaged through the core, killing everyone in his path, and absorbed the central power battery, the literal Green Lantern.
Becoming the Emerald Tyrant, Parallax.
There was only one survivor of Parallax's killing spree, Ganthet. And with what remained of his strength, he gave the last Green Lantern ring in the universe to a human, Kyle Rayner.
So,
Yep.
was Kyle picked for his
30.
indomitable willpower like Hal was?
He was just there. He had no idea.
Like,
what
they
was
really
going on.
put him
Must
at
feel
30,
good
bro.
being given
Like,
the most
he's in his
dangerous
20s.
magical weapon in
Was
existence
that
to figure
upgraded?
out on your own. Hey, if Colonel Sanders, Daffy Duck, Space Wheat, and a sentient
Bro, they did not
fox
mention
master,
that his favorite
what's
anime is
your
Gurren
excuse,
Lagann. That's
Kyle?
The
crazy.
Green Lantern ring can do anything, fulfilling any wish its user desires as though it were a genie from a lamp.
It lets you fire energy blasts, create force fields, affect gravity, turn invisible and intangible, manipulate matter, time travel, warp reality, and erase things from existence.
Think we're exaggerating? Well, consider the time Kyle stretched the very fabric of space to increase the Planck length a billion times over. That's like stretching an inch into a light year.
Lanterns control time and space, letting them fly so fast they can create a Speed Force singularity.
Tapping into the Speed Force requires entering a higher dimension of space, requiring speeds that are not only faster than light, but totally immeasurable. And the rings have an artificial intelligence that operates just as fast, automatically protecting its user from danger.
Like the time that Poozer Kilowog survived being erased from existence by the
remember seeing
crisis
that
on
feed.
Infinite Earth.
The ring is fueled by its user's willpower and limited only by their imagination.
While Hal may have had the greatest willpower in the Corps, Kyle's imagination is unmatched. Probably because he's a comic book artist. And we know from this show, they think of some wild shit.
But the Green Lantern's most recognizable ability is their constructs, Kyle's speciality.
Samurai armor, pirate ships, giant dragons, actual working home computers, and his favorite, super fighting robots. Hey, that one looks familiar.
Kyle can make them strong enough to lift the Spectre, who weighs as much as eternity.
Or hold back a 12.3 dimensional Big Bang.
They really have to point out like
12.3
on
12.3
that
dimensions.
early
That
on
is
his
the
preview.
stupidest thing I've ever heard.
The ring's only downside is that it's limited to 24 hours before needing a recharge.
So it can blow up universes, but it has the battery of an iPhone. Never
Yep.
mind, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. Although I'd say Kyle's biggest weakness was Kyle. With great power came no
Dang.
responsibility.
Perhaps a manifestation of Kyle's self-doubt. Any reflection came too late, though, when one of Kyle's villains brutally murdered his girlfriend, Alex, and put her body in a fridge.
Kyle
Golly.
wasn't the only one traumatized. This moment was so infamous, it started the trope called fridging.
For how female characters are often
Oh.
sacrificed as mere plot devices to further a male character's development.
So it might surprise you that it happened to Kyle again.
Kyle finally got serious. He became a prominent member of the Justice League, faced off against Hal, and even rebuilt the Green Lantern Corps better than ever.
But little did he know, this torchbearer's greatest journey had only just begun.
In order to save Ganthet from an emotional lobotomy, it's a long story, he had
What?
to master all the colors of the emotional electromagnetic spectrum.
Becoming the
There
White
are
Lantern.
7 colors, each representing a different emotion. The yellow light of fear lets Kyle manipulate the worst horrors in your mind. The more scared you are of him, the stronger he becomes.
Orange light is fueled by bottomless avarice, possessing Kyle to absorb not merely his enemies' attacks, but also their souls.
Red is rage, ripping out Kyle's heart and replacing his blood with napalm. Which sounds like it sucks, but it's metal as hell.
Blue light is powered by hope and allows Kyle to heal wounds, resist mental domination, and supercharge his ring.
Indigo is compassion, reducing his opponent's will to fight and letting him open portals across space, connecting him to others.
The final one was the sapphire light of love. With it, he can trap enemies within crystal matrices and control their minds. But Kyle only mastered it by forgiving himself for Alex's tragic death.
Oh, self-love. I get it. Must be nice. And with their powers combined, he doesn't just make his enemies taste the rainbow.
The lights of the spectrum merged, and Kyle became a White Lantern, with total control over the power of life.
Wiz, I cannot think of an attack more useless
Yes,
in
power
a
levels.
death
Okay,
battle
so he
than
does have a
something
limit.
that makes you live.
Empowered by the physical embodiment of all life in the DC multiverse, Kyle is vastly more powerful than any other Lantern in existence.
Far stronger than Hal, who could harness the energy of every power battery across the multiverse.
Not only can Kyle instantly heal all wounds, purify corruption, and resurrect the dead, the white light of life is strong enough to go up against threats to all of creation, like the Anti-Monitor.
Okay, so it's not totally useless.
Especially after Kyle visited the Source and acquired the Life Equation, Essentially the source code to reality, the life equation is mathematical proof that life is worth living.
With it, Kyle can alter all of reality at a whim, even threatening the new gods like Darkseid.
The life equation, like its counterpart, the anti-life equation, is a conceptual artifact from a higher reality, originating in a platonic realm that is, in a sense, more real than we are.
So it's not a shock that the equation made Kyle too powerful.
Yeah, but the thing is, he doesn't have control of the life equation.
Being composed of his fears and anxieties.
Oblivion.
Kyle's greatest weakness was still himself.
Kyle spent his whole life struggling with the power that the gods granted him, and throughout it all, he always rose to the occasion, carrying the universe on his back.
But ultimately, the only way to stop power from corrupting is to spread it. So Kyle split the life equation into pieces to found his
Plus, Star
second
Sapphire
core,
stated
the
that he
light
couldn't
engine.
handle power by
And
himself
together,
twice.
They shattered Oblivion, destroying the self-doubt that plagued Kyle once and for all.
Not bad for a comic book geek from LA.
And now he was the one giving out rings of unlimited power to people who weren't sure if they could command it.
So he told them the truth. You can't teach someone how to use such power. You have to learn yourself, making mistakes along the way.
But with the power of life at their command, there's no end to their journey, only endless beginnings.
Alright.
Hey, remember Beerus versus Sailor Galaxia? No? Well, that's because it was taken off YouTube for being too anime. But we've got a solution. It's our own website. That's www for Death Metal merch and a complete even more goodies on the way.
Okay. Rooting and bending Simone.
Right, the combatants
No matter
are set,
what,
and we've run the
this is
table
it.
through all possibilities.
The point of no return, guys. The point of no return. Believe in the Simone that believes in himself. Let's go.
Alright, I'm not rusty at all.
That's cool.
Hey dude, Green Lantern Officer Kyle Rayner here. Ring says you've got a Class A galactic super weapon, whatever that is. I'm
Alright.
thinking it's the giant mech. Why don't you hand it over?
Gurren Lagann's mine, officer. Just who the hell do you think you are?
Alright, Simone. Let's go. Yeah, take them shapes back. Okay, soundtrack is good.
I'm told I'm bad with authority.
Hey, the headbutt.
Tell me about it. 4!
Simone, watch out!
That's nothing! My drill will pierce the heavens!
Booyah! Early transformation? Wait a minute! Already? Wait a minute! Bro! You didn't get to like Gurren or Super Galaxy Gurren Lagann! We made one of Superman.
That's really cool.
Those are real weapons.
We do the impossible.
See the invisible.
Touch the untouchable.
Break the unbreakable.
If you ain't know,
Now you know!
You know.
Best weapon in the universe, swing!
I'm
Resourceful.
Simone the Digger. If there's a wall in my way, I'll smash it down!
He's using the life equation, right?
Stop fighting. Think about your fear of death, your love of your friends, your compassion for
No, Simone!
hope for the
Don't
future.
give up!
Choose
Don't
life.
give up, bro!
Have faith in the
Simone!
sun.
Believe, remember what Kamina said! Don't go out and win, Simone! Tear a hole in the sky!
My drill is
Super Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann!
Digger drill free!
Come on, Simone! Space can stop my drill.
the super weapon wasn't your mech.
It was me.
Then, Simone, I'm taking you in brightest day, in blackest
Come on,
night.
Simone!
No evil shall escape my sight. Let those who worship evil's might beware my power. Green Lantern fly!
Come on, Simone! Throw that red! Throw that red!
You'd make a good lantern.
Simone won!
You have been.
Let's freaking
Who the hell do you
go!
For the guy with the snazzy sunglasses!
When both combatants possess unlimited power, it's hard to judge them by normal standards. Take speed. Simone can hit an infinite number of targets all at once, and Kyle can fly fast enough to surpass the normal concept of speed itself.
When you control space and time, things like strength and speed kind of become irrelevant.
Instead, let's analyze them through a lens more applicable to beings as absurd as Simone and Kyle. Their imagination, their willpower, and their ultimate potential.
First up, imagination. The boundless things they could conjure to use against the other. Both could think of just about anything the other could, like absorbing each other's attacks, fighting across time, anything.
Simone did have a few attacks that Kyle hasn't encountered, like the probability-altering missiles.
Probability
but it's
missiles.
likely
Time
Kyle
travel
could
ain't
adapt,
gonna be
considering
nothing.
his ring could protect against existence being erased across the multiverse.
And in general, Kyle's
my
constructs were a lot
gosh.
more creative than Simone's arsenal, which was mostly drills. Though again, nothing Simone couldn't adapt to with, say, his energy absorption. Imagination is a draw.
That leaves the other main factor for both characters, the origin of their unbelievable might, their willpower.
And that's really gonna be the winning factor here, since it's the source of everything for both of them. Whoever's got the stronger willpower wins.
Both can manipulate reality on a multiversal scale with their willpower, but we can use dimensions to roughly calculate a difference. This might sound absurd for most
My
characters,
edit
but it's
aged
necessary
well.
for beings as beyond the pale as Simone and Kyle.
The multiverse labyrinth that Simone absorbed contained 11 spatial dimensions. That's 1.3 dimensions less than the multiverse Kyle's power can threaten.
And remember, each numbered dimension infinitely surpasses the one below it.
Which meant Kyle's willpower was stronger at a base level. However, that doesn't necessarily mean Kyle gets the edge, because if there's one thing both of these guys are known for, it's that they can always get stronger.
So to determine the limits
but
of their
Simone's
willpower,
just
we
never
first
growing.
need to understand their full potential.
Simone's whole deal with spiral power is how he can constantly evolve to get stronger. So just because Simone starts off weaker doesn't mean he'll stay that way.
Absorbing the multiverse labyrinth required Simone to leapfrog several orders of infinity in an
This is
instant.
number one. This is number one
Simone
favorite death
made
battle. I don't care.
himself
Favorite
that
number one
much
death battle.
stronger
You call me
through
a glazer
sheer
all you
force
want.
of will.
More than enough to
Those
close the gap
Kyle
with
Rayner
Kyle,
fanboys thinking that
especially
they-
since
I
spiral
do like
power
Kyle, don't
also
get me
lets
wrong,
him
but I just don't
regenerate
like
his
the way how
body
they,
down to an
lazy
informational
thinking that you
level.
always win.
Kyle's never
This-
destroyed something that thoroughly before.
Without the ability
This
to
proves
easily
it.
kill Simone,
Thank
it was
you,
only a
Spawn.
matter of time before Kyle's ring ran
Thank
low
you,
on
Spawn.
charge. Especially since Simone could likely regenerate for at least a week straight, like Nia did. While Blue Lantern Light could boost Kyle's power, he's never jumped several orders of infinity in strength like Simone has.
And while Kyle could manipulate emotions to reduce Simone's willpower, Simone resisting the labyrinth's mental manipulation meant he could power through anything Kyle threw at him.
Everything, that is, except for the life equation. It originated from a higher level of reality and would have more than even the odds.
Too bad Kyle couldn't control it. It was just as much a detriment to him as an asset,
people
forcing
saying
him to
he was
relinquish it to
life
keep
breaking,
from destroying
there was a
reality
comment that said,
and
like,
himself.
Compare that to Simone,
That
who
someone with
merged with a
strong
version of
emotions, like
himself
Simone
writing a
can
version of
actually
Gurren
power
Lagann, and using spiral power to make that fiction into reality.
A pretty similar level of reality to the life equation, and a level of power Simone had no trouble embracing and mastering by the end of his story. No matter how you look at it, Simone might start weaker, but his peak will always transcend Kyle's. Isn't that how all of
Basically,
Simone's
Kyle will get
battles
weaker
usually
while
go
Simone will
anyway?
keep growing
That's
stronger.
Gurren Lagann in a nutshell.
So Simone's incredible potential eclipsed Kyle, which means his
And
willpower was ultimately greater. Kyle may have embodied life itself,
rate of adaptation,
but Simone's
greater
unstoppable
generation.
evolutionary potential would shatter even this lantern's light.
I hope Kyle at least dug the fight, because when it comes to death battle losers, he was a dead ringer.
The winner is Simone
Simone
the
the Digger, the
Time
GOAT!
on Death Battle.
Coyote versus Tom. Let's go. Okay. So yeah. Oh my gosh. Woo! The spiral power in me. I felt it. I wore the Simone shirt, the necklace. And even though this is Spider-Man, like, since he's voiced by Yuri Lowenthal, but hey, a dub is a dub. Let's freaking go. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo! Probably more louder than I screamed for Ghost Rider vs. Bond. I'm sorry, guys, if you felt that scream, but that scream is so loud, it pierced the heavens. Woo-hoo! Oh, it felt good. I felt good. So yeah, everyone, that is it for this reaction. And this also proves, thanks to Spawn, again, cosmology doesn't mean everything. But yeah, thank you all so much for watching this video with me. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Please support the official release by checking out the original video in the link in the description below. And, yeah. That's all I had to say. For all the people that rooted and betted in Simone, and betted even though it was risky, we did it. Ben Tennyson, hopefully you're having a great time with this, like since Hal Jordan. But yeah, thank you all so much for watching. Like and subscribe, and ring that notification bell. Thank you very much. Bye, and God bless you, 'cause that is how we tear a hole in the sky. For that is Tengen Toppa. That's Gurren Lagann. For our drill is the drill that creates the heavens. Whew. Now that's how you go out with a bang.